Hey YouTube, my name is Burke Sanders. I've been a dive master since 2011, and today I'd like to make a video to show you how to hunt for shark teeth in Venice Beach, Florida. The episode today is going to cover shore diving for shark teeth. This will be a three-part series that covers shore diving, boat diving, and also hunting for shark teeth on the beach. So for today's episode, we're going to focus in on shore diving, the act of carrying your scuba gear to the beach, going into the water from that method, and hunting for the teeth. So what we're looking for: shark teeth like this one, also like this one, and a few more, a couple varieties that you can find down there. And we also are going to keep our eye out for megalodon teeth. I don't unfortunately have one on me today, but I'll get one and add it into this video later. In addition to those, you can find all sorts of cool fossils, shells. This stash of shells was what I pulled up from the last dive I did. I was videoing. These are just what I was able to pick up while videoing the other divers in the water. So what we're going to talk about today is three things. First off is location. Where to go in Venice, where to park, where the best way to get to the beach is, and how to go about carrying your gear there and doing it in a manner that's away from crowds. Two is going to be search technique. We're going to talk about what technique you need to use once you're underwater to find the teeth. For the first time diver going out there, it can be a little confusing as to what you're looking for, what you'll actually see when you're in the water, and how to go about finding the teeth. So I'll try to demystify that a little bit for you so that you can find a bunch of teeth your first dive. And the final thing we'll talk about is your search pattern. How you actually want to travel underwater so that you're not wasting your precious air time while you're down there looking for those teeth. Okay, with that, let's get started. All right, everyone. So let's talk about the location that we're going to be diving in to find the shark teeth. If you're watching this video, you're most likely trying to find shark teeth in Venice, Florida. You'll notice Venice is roughly equal distance between Fort Myers and Tampa. It's directly off of Interstate 75. So as you can see here, this connector from 681, if you're coming from Tampa, going to US 41 is going to be your best bet to get there. Once you've arrived in Venice, a couple things to note. Venice Beach, for me anyhow, starts at this jetty and goes down to this Sharkies on the pier or the airport, whichever landmark you'd like to use. Let me switch to satellite mode and I'll show you a little bit more. The jetty here has a lot of condos, a lot of tourism, a lot of people that frequent this beach area. It's very nice, but we're not here to play on the beach, so I avoid this area just because of the crowds. You can find shark teeth all up and down this area, so don't feel like you're missing out on anything by not going to the point here. The area I like to go to is a little bit further south. It's off of Alhambra Road, or another location is Venice Sands Apartment Complex. If you'll put this into your GPS, this will give you a great location on your map to go to. Once you're in this area, follow Alhambra Road down to the dead end here. As you can see, it leads directly to a path that will take you onto the beach. There are 3 to 4 parking spaces off to the right of Alhambra Road where you can park comfortably and carry your gear down to the beach. Once you've parked and carried your gear down, assemble it and then carry your excess clothing, sunglasses, keys, and everything back to your truck. Secure it however you'd like. I put my keys in a magnetic box under my truck. So once you've got your scuba gear assembled and everything, there's an important landmark to note here. It's these 2 drainage pipes. The reason they're so important for this location is because nowhere else on this beach is there great landmarks. Sure, you can use buildings, but after a while they all seem to blend together for me. So what I do is I'll mark these two drain pipes as I'm going out, and once I'm coming back in, I can use them as an easy reference point so that I don't come up on the beach down here. And as you all know, carrying scuba tanks 300 or 400 yards down the beach can be tiresome, after a long dive especially. So look for these two drainage pipes. Great place to set your gear so it doesn't get sandy while you're getting ready. And once you've gotten there and gotten ready, we can head out into the water. Okay, so now that we've talked about location, let's take a quick look at the search technique and the search pattern we're going to use to find the shark teeth in Venice, Florida. So now we're ready to go diving, but where in the world do you find the teeth? We'll cover that part now. So we're at the drain pipes, we've got our gear on. What I like to do is put my BCD wetsuit if you're going to wear one. I usually just wear swimming trunks and a skin up top. Have my mask on, and I'll walk out into the water a few yards and put my fins on after the first set of wave breaks. Once the fins are on, what we want to do is swim directly out. I'm going to put a ruler out so that we can see distance a little bit easier. So we're going to measure from the drain pipes. I'm going to go directly out here and just drop the ruler. That's actually about perfect. Okay, so we've got our gear on, and basically what we want to do is 200 to 300 yards is where the rebel piles are going to start appearing. So swim out past first wave break, put your fins on, and either drop down and swim under the second wave breaks, or inflate your BC and save your air and swim past the second set of wave breaks here. So roughly at 100 yards or 300 feet, you'll be in calm water, very shallow still, 10, 12 feet maybe at this point. And the max depth you're going to get on this dive out here may be in the 20 feet range. I think my max depth was 26, 27 feet on my last dive. So not a very deep dive at all. So what you want to do is swim out to this point. Once you're here, usually drop down. If it's very, very murky water, I'll usually stay on surface until I get about 200 yards out. Once you're at 200 yards, on the bottom, you're going to see running parallel with the beach, you're going to see these black rubble piles running parallel here with the beach. They're going to be spaced every 15 to 20 feet or so. So you may have one here, have another here, have another here, have another here, and so on and so forth until you get way, way out here. Now, I have not experienced better finds with the closer or the further ones. I think it depends on the day, the conditions. So don't feel like you need to swim super far out. I find that the visibility is better the further you get out. So for that reason, I recommend about 300 to 400 yards is the prime location. Visibility, swim distance, all of that considered. 300 to 400 yards is going to be my prime search area. So once you start seeing the black piles, you say, oh, what are those things? Well, it looks like a lot of crushed shell, a lot of old fossils, broken rock, anything that will be heavy enough to sit still on the bottom kind of clumps in these parallel rows. So once you've reached this area, drop down maybe 20 feet or so here, and you'll see these black rows. Now we'll talk about search technique in a minute, but let's talk about search pattern. Once you drop down, you'll find a row. What I like to do is follow that row, maybe 100, 200 yards or 200 feet or so, and then I'll skip over to the next row and follow it back, creating a kind of a square pattern, following it back and forth, back and forth. And I will do this until I usually get to about half of my air supply, maybe a little bit less. Just kind of depends on the day, what I'm in the mood for, if I'm finding a lot of cool stuff. So once you've created your grid, And also, I guess to note here, the current some days can be either going north or south. So depending on that, I'll stick my first part of my dive up current so that as I'm coming back in, it will push me back down to where I'm going. And if it's coming that way, I'll swim in this area so that as I'm swimming in, it's an easier swim in because we all know you're more tired at the end of your dive. So you've reached half your air supply. You've been doing the grids. Hopefully by this point you've got a good handful of shark teeth. Maybe you found a megalodon tooth, maybe not. At least you'll have found a bunch of whale bones and a bunch of really cool fossils, and you'll likely have seen a few cool fish, maybe an octopus or two, and hopefully some big conch shells while you're down there. So half your air supply, I start coming back in. Still continuing the grid search pattern as I come in. Once I get down to maybe 400 pounds of air, I'll go ahead and surface, and I'll swim on my back down to the all-important landmark of the drain pipes. So at this point, you're back to the drain pipes. You can set your gear down, take your gear off, and you can usually go back to your vehicle. If you want to bring another tank, you can bring your other tank back down, exchange it real quick without having to carry everything back to your car. Very convenient. If you're just doing one dive, I just keep my gear on and walk straight to my truck and set it in the bed of the truck. Okay, so next we'll talk about how to search once you're on the bottom, and we'll go over that briefly. Okay, so now that we've talked about the search pattern, let's talk a little bit about the technique. Once you get on the bottom, you'll see rows of black shells, teeth, fossils, all kinds of stuff that washes up and stay together in little black rows on the bottom. I'll show you a video of that now, but for demonstration purposes, it's easier for me to show it to you on paper with video support than it is for me to show you the videos alone because, one, the visibility on some of my videos is not great. You are diving close to the shore, so your visibility is not going to be that good. So if you watch on this next little video clip, I'll show you this, what you'll see underwater, and then we'll come back here and I'll talk to you a little bit more about how to actually look for the teeth. So now that we've seen the rows on the bottom and how they look, let's talk about the first method that I tried to find the shark teeth. That was to use a dive net, something that you would use to catch fish or pick up other things. What you do is you get the net and you scoop it down into the sediment on the bottom. Then you want to pick it up and shake it out to let all the sand and other fine particles fall out. And then what you're left with is the rougher particles, which you can go through roughly and shake out and see if any of them match anything that you've seen on this video or anything that looks like you want to keep. I'll show you a demonstration of that now. So the net method is not without its faults. The biggest fault the net method has is that every time you scoop the sediment from the bottom, you reduce your visibility in that area for the time being. It takes about 60 seconds for it to wash away, so you're forced to move on to the next area. For that reason, we don't use the net method very often when we go out. What we instead do, I bring a pair of dive lights, one for me and my dive partner, and we'll use the dive light to illuminate a small area so that we can see it very clearly. And we pick through that area very slowly. This is probably our best method of finding shark teeth. Again, you don't need the light to do this, but it does help focus your visual area into a small window so that you can notice all the fine details of that area. I'll show you a clip of that now and how that works. Okay, so the final technique that I use is to wear a pair of dive gloves. Any dive gloves will do. What I'll do is I'll swim to the bottom. I'll use my hand to slightly brush sediment and to move it around. Usually the shark teeth are stuck down into the sediment. I'll show you an example. So if this is a sediment, it would be stuck down into the sediment like so. What you're doing by slightly brushing over the sediment and moving it around is you're pulling those shark teeth out of the sand and hopefully getting a better picture of what you're looking for. And the more you do it, the more you reduce your visibility. But as you can see in this next video, if you do it very lightly, you can gently disturb the sediment and hopefully uncover a lot of teeth. And then just use your eyes to pick out those objects. The big challenge in this is learning what the teeth look like from any angle while you're underwater. So you need to be able to ID the tooth from this angle, from this angle, from this angle, from this angle, any angle really. And as you do more and more dives, you'll get better at that. So let me show you a quick video demonstration of how it works using your hand to stir the sediment, and then we'll conclude this video. Okay guys, thanks for watching up to this point. So to conclude the video, I just want to tell you about one or two other things that you need to know in order to successfully hunt shark teeth in Venice Beach. One of which is what you're going to put your teeth in after you found them. The first time I went out there, I didn't take anything except my dive gear, my gloves, and lo and behold, I found a bunch of teeth. I had nowhere to put them, so I was trying to put them in my weights or my BCD pocket. I risked puncturing my pocket, all kinds of things. So for really cheap on Amazon, eBay, any dive store, they'll have these. It's a shell net or a fossil net. It simply clips onto your BCD. If y'all would like, just leave me a comment and I'll throw up a link to where you can buy these. These are great to have. I recommend every diver has one. The way they work, you clip them onto your BCD wherever you'd like, and they Velcro open and closed so that you can simply drop whatever you find into the bag and simply push it closed, and you don't have to worry about it falling out or getting broken or puncturing your BCD and risk expensive gear damage. So number one, get one of these. Number two, don't ever go out there alone, guys. There's a lot of boat traffic. There's a lot of people going up and down that beach. There's a lot of people with dive groups in boats that are going out there. So if you are doing a shore dive, please don't go out there alone. You're going to be a lot safer if you have a dive buddy, somebody to watch out for you. And also bring a dive flag, not only just to be legal, but for your safety. People ride jet skis out there all day. There's boats. A dive flag is going to do nothing but improve your chances of being safe. So take a dive flag with you, put it on a reel, just keep it clamped somewhere on the side of your BC and let it float behind you. It's a lot of stuff to carry. It's easy to get tangled, but it guarantees, or at least improves the chances that you'll be able to dive again out there. And if you don't find the megalodon tooth today, then hopefully you'll get to find it on your next dive because the boat didn't get you. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. My next video is going to be about how to go on a successful boat dive in Venice Beach, Florida. So if y'all stay tuned, like and subscribe, I'll get that video out to you soon. After that dive video, we're going to go on and put a video about how to find the shark teeth on the beach. If you're not a diver, if you're not a scuba diver, we'll talk about how you can successfully find these teeth using some really cheap tools, walking up and down the beach. And this doesn't apply just to Venice. This is all over Florida, all over places where you can find fossils. So guys, thank you. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on my next video. Bye.